The WebdriverIO getAttribute method is very useful in situations where the tester needs to fetch specific attribute values to verify certain test scripts. For example, if it is that you are testing an airline application and upon selecting a seat, the attribute color changes to green. However, if a seat is not available, the attribute color is red. You would need to be able to access the attribute of the element in order to verify whether or not the seat is available or taken. In this tutorial, I will walk you through understanding what are attributes as well as how to use them in WebdriverIO. Let's get started. Elements in HTML contains attributes, and attributes are just additional values that configures an element, and it also adjusts the behavior of the element to meet certain criteria. They are always specified in the start tag, and they normally come in pairs such as name, equal, value, and they provide additional information about the element. So for example, if we have an anchor tag with an href, the href attribute would specify the URL that the link should go to. And if we have a form, and we are going to be using this form in our example later on, this form contains a name attribute, an ID attribute, an action attribute, and a method attribute. And you can use any of those attributes to get back data that you would need. Let us now implement the getAttribute function in a test. If we go to WebdriverIO, we'll see that it specifies that the getAttribute allows you to get an element based on the attribute name. You need to use the selector and then say getAttribute and pass in the specific attribute name that you want to find. So for example, if we have a form and we have a method post, what we're going to have to do is say find the locator for the form, and after you have found that locator, you're going to say getAttribute on the locator, and you're going to pass in the parameter of the attribute name, which in this case is method. After that, you can console log out that result. If we look at our page, we realize that we have a form and it has a name, login, it has actions, and it has methods. In our test, we're going to get the attribute name from our form. So we are first going to navigate to the URL, and then we're going to find the locator of our form, and it has an ID of login. So we can use that to get the element. Once we have our element, then we're going to assert that the attribute name, as we can see here, is equal to login. We can also do the same thing for other attributes that are in our form. So we can get the attribute method, and that should be equal to post. We're also just going to console log out these results so that you can see the text that is returned from the getAttribute method. So we're going to console log out getAttribute name on the form and getAttribute method on the form as well. If we go ahead and run our test, it should pass, and if we check our results, we should see that it prints out post, which came from the method attribute, and it should also print out login that came from the name attribute. You may be wondering what the difference between getAttribute, getText, and getValue is. getText gets the text from the DOM. So in this case, the text would be inside the div. However, the attribute would be the ID. For getValue, getValue gets the value of a text area, a select field, or a text input. So for example, once it is an input, then it can get the value of it. You can take a look at my video where I compare getText and getValue for more information. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you in the next one.